it's totally doable to live in a sailboat and sail with the dog, just with certain caveats, like you can't go to exactly all the countries.
You know what I really highly recommend though?
I can think of two things.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I for sure
varnish your floors.
Okay, yeah, two really big important things. Varnish your floors, like protect your floors. We just totally ruined the teak floors inside our boat.
It's like the dog's toenails will rip up the floor of your boat.
And like ours were 30 years old and they're a little bit soft, and they were beautiful when we bought the boat. And within 6 months, like they're so
not even 6 months. Like
I'm
2.
so discouraged by how they look now. And eventually we ended up using schooner or something or other, like some sort of protectant, and it's worked really well. And I wish we'd have just done that from the beginning. Yeah. But yeah, we totally messed up our floors with the dog. And the other really important thing is having a walk-through transom out of the cockpit. If you have a cockpit at the back of the boat, it makes getting the boat in and out of the dinghy, or the dog in and out of the dinghy, so much easier. I had a Catalina 27 before with Bruce, and I'd have to just like physically pick him up and lower him. He's like 80 or 90 pounds. And if I had to do that as often as we do now, the amount of sailing we do now, like daily, that would be so
it's like
annoying.
3 times. We take Bruce, we try to take him to shore 3 times a day, like once in the morning for a bathroom break, once before bed, and then a walk in the middle of the day. So if you have an 80-pound dog, anything over 40, you're doing that, lifting him on and off the boat 6 times a day. Like it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, walk-through transom is really key, I think, to having a big dog on a boat.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a lot of lifting. And I've actually seen some dog backpacks, which look absolutely hilarious. Like they look cute in a small dog, but I was seeing photos with the golden retriever in them, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so fun.
Well, speaking of going to Mexico and heading further south to sort of uncharted waters and doing bigger sails that you haven't done before, how are you preparing for all of this? I mean, your plan, if I'm correct, is to sail in BC for the summer season and then heading down south in the fall. So how are you preparing for this? Obviously, you're getting the boat ready, but what else is there? Is there mental preparation or logistics or whatever else?
Yeah, there's
panicking.
We do.
I think we panicked last night officially.
We have a couple panic sessions for sure.
Once in a while.
Logistics, definitely getting the boat ready. We've put a lot of effort into the boat recently. As you mentioned, we just hauled out last weekend and put a lot of time and money into the boat. But we're feeling good about the boat. But there's also the logistics of work. I think one of the things that Ben and I both have a tough time with is that because we are young, it's leaving our jobs at a time when we could be really building a nest egg. And we want to leave, but it's kind of how we're going to do it without having to sell everything, so that there's a little bit of something to come back to if we were to come back. And that, I think, we change our minds on regularly. And I don't think we even have an answer yet.
It's the opportunity cost of, like, a lot of people that do this, they sell off everything and then they buy their boat with cash in hand, and they have a kitty. And like, I've definitely thought about it, and we could do that today, and we could skip West Coast Vancouver Island and go straight to Mexico right now. But I spent a lot of my 20s backpacking and also working really hard, but I kind of always got back from like long stints of traveling and being like, okay, I want to stop. I want there to be like making money for me while I'm gone, like investments and stuff like that. And so like, we're in that place now, but I don't really just want to sell everything and give that up. Like it's sort of like, I want both, which is really
don't we
maybe not how it works. I did commit to selling my house. We bought the boat and didn't, but maybe I should. But it's sort of just like, if we can have some rental income, and even if that's not paying our way, as long as that mortgage is being paid off while we're gone, I'll be more at peace with sort of going off and having a big adventure, and that allowing our wealth to sort of build passively while we're away. That was really important to me, to be like in a position where that was going to be happening. But we don't know if we'll get there. Like, we're probably still going to sell. We have a couple properties. We'll probably sell the house I was planning to sell when we bought the boat.
We'll probably follow through on what we said.
But to the other point there, so the timeline isn't quite correct. We're spending another year in BC. So we're going to sail from the East Coast, Vancouver Island, up to Tofino on the West Coast. Well, we're going to go the South way fairly soon, in like a month. And then we're going to spend the whole summer where we are. We're in Tofino now. This is where we live and work. And so we'll be partly living on the boat, partly living in this place, continuing to do our day jobs indefinitely, or for the whole year. and doing sort of like weekend adventures and then a couple of vacations. And then we're going to winter on the boat. We're going to actually move onto the boat, rent this place out fully. And that's when we're sort of like full on liveaboards until we're done the journey. And then it's going to be the following summer. So summer 2022 is when we're going to sail down to Mexico.
We bumped it back almost a full year.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we need that time. We need to re-rig the boat. We need to do quite a few projects. And we're going to do some of them here in Tofino over the summer and over the fall and winter. And then we got to go back to the East Coast to Vancouver Island or Victoria, maybe, where we can do some of the bigger projects like the re-rig and some mast work. And then like we would just leave for Mexico, let's say spring 2022, but then there's the hurricane season to consider. And so it's sort of like we can't really get into Mexico until late 2022 anyway. So that's sort of driving that. But we're not ready. This fall, we won't be ready. We just have to, like, if we could quit our jobs right now and focus on the boat and focus on the YouTube channel and only do that, we would be ready.
Life would be
but
so much
like,
easier.
I'm not ready to quit my job. I don't want to quit my job yet.
Yeah.
I own my business. I can't just quit my job yet. It's not that simple for me. And yeah, so the timeline is Mexico 2022. So we got lots of time.
It's a big change. Like, it takes planning and also to make it sort of future proof so that it's not just like 6 months later, well, you're out of money and now what? So
Exactly.
I totally get it. Making those plans, having a little bit of a safety net, either financial or otherwise, some sort of a home base, and doing everything in your home country before you set off. It makes total sense for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, like, as long as the boat is safe, I don't need to have every single project done. Like, I'm pretty happy to MacGyver stuff down in Mexico once we get there. And like, we don't need every comfort. If something's not working, like, as long as it's safe, I'm not going to be too upset. We spent the last 2 years without even having a depth sounder. So like, which is a pretty critical piece of equipment in most people's eyes, but we just finally installed a transducer last week so that we can hook that up to our new chart plotter and have depth, which will be really, really nice. You know, as long as it's safe, like I said, as long as the boat is sound and the rigging's good, we're going to go regardless of what else needs to be done.
If you wait until your boat is ready, you'll never leave the dock.
Oh yeah, our project list is like 700 items, so we're not going to get it all done.
But I think the planning is financial planning, obviously boat planning, and mental planning, and yeah.
I feel like I'm ignoring the mental part of it. It's just, we'll be ready when the time comes. Like,
I'm pretty much ready now.
Yeah. Like, are we skilled enough to do the sail down? I don't know.
Probably not,
but we're going to do it anyway.
But the fastest way to learn is by trial and error.